Hello, so I'm going to review some unit testing. Basically, this is from topic 5 in SAM, and the project that I'm going to be working with is the camper project. So it's in Bitbucket, CIS2232 2017-2018 part 2, topic 5, where the unit testing example is placed. So inside here I've got a camper application, but this is just a standalone Java application which has some unit testing in it. Okay, so inside the project here, close some of these. Inside the project, I've got a camper class, and this is the class that I want to test. So the idea behind the unit test is that it's going to test down to the method level. And the method I want to test in here is get camp daily cost. All right, so this is partially developed. It's not fully developed. It's been developed in response to a couple of unit tests that we've already built. Okay, so in SAM here, you'll see the requirements are here. First off, I'll look at a couple of little things that we talked about. Right, the main things I like, the two benefits I like about test-driven development using unit testing as the tests that drive the design of our applications is that it forces you to write your methods concisely with a focus on the inputs and the outputs of the method. All right, and it also forces you to write tests. This is one of the activities that as developers we're kind of slack on, so it forces us to do some testing. All right, so in SAM you can review some of these other benefits of test-driven development. What we're going to do is walk through these steps with one more. All right, so you'll notice that the standards are met here. We're separating our tests from the source code. NetBeans helps us do that. The package names are the same as the source files. The test class names are based on the class that it tests. And we use descriptive method naming. So inside NetBeans here you can see the camper. This is the camper test class. All right. And it is inside the same package as the camper class, which contains the method that we're testing. All right, if we look at the test, we'll see that the method names are very descriptive. So here we have a test that a 7-year-old camp type not 1 cost is 40. All right, so we're in this 7-year-old for a camp type that's not equal 1, that the cost comes back to 40. All right, so this is our unit test class. You'll notice that it's just a Java class. We have a current year attribute, which is used in our testing. So it's just a Java class. It can have attributes. It has a constructor. All right, so there's a couple of special things here, though. These before class. Whenever you add this annotation to this method, anything that happens inside here anything that happens in here, this year code will run before any test start. Right? And this method, the after class, it will run after all the tests are completed. Okay, and we've got another method. Okay, and this will run before every test. All right, and then again, once again, this will run after each test. So these can be used. Sometimes you'll have to set up certain data. You'll see what we did here before any test runs. We're setting up the current year based on the based on using this year website helped us go figure out how to get the current year, and we use that in order to determine how old somebody is. Right, so it'll be torn down afterwards. So you might have some setup and some tear down after each test runs. Okay, so this is our unit test. The first one. All right, so what we do is we get their date of birth. We dynamically set the date of birth. We want somebody that is 7 years ago, thanks to, I think it was Brandon, that noted that if we just hard-coded it to 2017-0306. Then after January, all of a sudden, they wouldn't be the same age as they were the year before. So we use the current year to build their date of birth. All right, we create a camper object, Joe McLean, with the date of birth, and camp type 4. And then what we do is we use our assertion to implement our unit test. So we're asserting that the daily cost for this camper object comes back to 40. So if this fails, then we'll be able to see the results quickly in NetBeans. Okay, so I just want to show you how we created this test class. What I did was go to the package, or it can be anywhere as long as you create a new test, JUnitTest. If you don't see it here in the initial recently used options, you can look under Other and go into UnitTests. Then you can find your unit test there, your JUnitTest. All right, so I'm going to create another camper 2 test just to see how to do it. And you can leave these these checked. This will take care of the setup methods and add those to our unit test for us. And that builds us a stub unit test class. All right, so it's down here is the actual test. Okay, so you see this test, once the assertion is made, this test is complete. It either passes or fails based on this assertion. All right, so if I want to test that, what I do is I can right click and say test file, and you'll come back and it runs my test. And it's going slowly. There it goes. So I have, all right, you get this little pop-up. When I click this, it gives me a little green is pass, red is fail. You notice that both of these have passed. So the process for test-driven development is that what I'll do is I'll add a test, and then I'll add some development to my method to make the test pass. So maybe I'll quickly add another unit test here. All right, so I'm going to add a test, say that a 10-year-old for type 1, camp type 1, the cost should be 30. So I'm just going to use one of these as a template. All I have to do is I can add more tests to this class. Test that 10-year-old camp type 1 cost is 30. Right, so I'm going to say year minus 10. Create the same guy, camp type 1. And I'll assert that its cost is 30. All right, so I'll save that and retest my file. Alright, so 2 passed, 1 failed. Notice it's this one, expected 30, but it was 10. Alright, so now I have to go do some development. So I'm going to go into my method. Alright, get camp daily cost. Less than or equal to 7, cost is 40. I will say else. Age greater than equal 10. Because it's 20. Camp type is 1, we add $10 to it. So that should be enough code to pass my test. Alright, so I save that, go back, retest my test. Great, now all 3 tests have passed. I can move on to my next iteration. All right, write another test, run the test, it'll fail, add some more code to make it pass, run all tests, make the test pass, refactor the tests or the code if necessary, and then repeat. So that's what we're up to. Eventually, we create enough tests, we verify that our method works as expected, and that's sort of the basics of test-driven development.